Hi, welcome to the video course Dutch Pronunciation for Beginners, Vowel Letters. My name is William Guo and I'm the author of the book Dutch Pronunciation and Spelling for Beginners. This is a practical self-study textbook that explains the main pronunciation and spelling rules of every letter of the Dutch alphabet. It also explains the pronunciation rules of the common letter combinations such as SCH, AUV, TIE, and so on. In order to help the readers better understand this book, I've created two accompanying video courses. The first one is Dutch Pronunciation for Beginners, Vowel Letters, which you're watching now. The other one is Dutch Pronunciation for Beginners, Consonant Letters, which is available on the popular online learning platform Skillshare. If you have studied this book and completed both video courses successfully, you'll be able to pronounce most Dutch words based on the spelling, even if you've never heard or seen the words before and don't know their meanings. In this video, I'll briefly introduce myself and explain why I've written the book and created the accompanying video courses. I'll also explain how this video course is structured and some other aspects that will be useful for you to further follow this course. Like most of you that are watching this video, I was not born or raised in the Netherlands and I've learned Dutch completely as a foreign language. When I first came to the country in 1997, I was already 20 years old and couldn't speak a word of Dutch. Learning the language was very difficult for me at the beginning, and one of the toughest obstacles was the pronunciation. Unlike English dictionaries, Dutch dictionaries rarely provide phonetic symbols that clarify the pronunciation of words. So when I first started learning Dutch, I couldn't look up the pronunciation of the many new words that I needed to learn in a dictionary. And in the 1990s, when I moved to the Netherlands, there were no video courses or good textbooks available for international learners that could teach me the Dutch pronunciation rules. So I had to work very hard to basically figure out the many rules and exceptions of pronunciation and spelling all by myself. This was no easy process and it took me a significant amount of time to work it all out. As myself, I've undergone such a difficult learning process, I understand very well what kind of obstacles international learners come across at the beginning stage of their learning. And I'd really like to help make the learning process as easy as possible for them by sharing all the useful things that I've figured out about the Dutch pronunciation and spelling. That's why I have, despite my demanding job as a qualified Dutch lawyer, devoted a lot of time to writing this book and to creating the accompanying video courses. I really hope that you'll benefit from these learning materials and that you'll be able to master the Dutch pronunciation much faster and much more easily than I did. This video course has 11 lessons. After this introduction video, I'll teach you the Dutch alphabet in the next lesson. In the third lesson, I'll explain some basic concepts that are crucial to understand in order to further follow this course. The following 5 lessons form the core of this video course. During these 5 lessons, I'll explain the main pronunciation and spelling rules of each of the 5 Dutch vowel letters and the common letter combinations involving these vowel letters. In the 9th lesson, I'll explain the main pronunciation rules related to 4 diacritical marks used in Dutch. The last 2 lessons are also important because I'll provide an overview of all the vowels taught in this video course. I'll systematically explain the phonetic features of each vowel and also summarize how each vowel is commonly spelled. After watching these final 2 lessons, you'll see that although we come across as many as 22 Dutch vowels in this course, an English speaker in fact only needs to master 3 vowels that are, strictly speaking, genuinely Dutch and don't also appear in English. The other 18 vowels either also appear in English, so you can already pronounce them, or they're made of components that you can already pronounce as an English speaker, plus one of the 3 genuine Dutch vowels. So I hope that at the end of this course, you'll feel that all the pieces of the puzzle have fallen into place, and you'll no longer find Dutch vowels complicated or difficult. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, this book and the accompanying video courses are specifically designed for beginners. So I hope you understand that I'm not able to explain every aspect of Dutch pronunciation and spelling. Making various choices when writing the book and making the accompanying video courses was unavoidable. In chapter 1 of my book, I've carefully explained the various choices I've made and some of the limitations of the book. It would take too much time to explain all these choices and limitations here, so I would recommend reading this chapter. For those that don't have time to go through the explanations in chapter 1, I'll briefly point out 3 important aspects. The first is about Dutch accents and dialects. As Dutch is spoken in a number of countries and regions, there are inevitably different accents and dialects. For the sake of simplicity, I've chosen to focus on the standard Dutch spoken in the Netherlands, which is commonly called Algemeen Beschaafd Nederlands, or ABN in short. Another aspect that's worth mentioning is that in the book and the accompanying video courses, I've used the method of comparison to illustrate the key phonetic features of the various Dutch vowels and consonants by contrasting the Dutch speech sounds with the relevant English speech sounds. As English is spoken in many countries, I've limited the comparison to the received pronunciation of British English, mainly because it's often considered as the standard British accent. The last thing that I'd like to mention in this video is the use of phonetic symbols. In the book and the accompanying video courses, phonetic symbols are placed in square brackets to indicate the pronunciation of the various Dutch speech sounds and the example words. I've adopted the phonetic symbols used in this book, published by 2 Dutch phonologists. It's possible that the phonetic symbols used in some dictionaries and some other academic publications are not exactly the same as these. As far as I'm aware, there isn't a standard set of phonetic symbols that is universally used to transcribe Dutch pronunciation. If you are aware of such a set, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you have any questions, remarks, or suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll try to respond to as many of them as possible. That brings us to the end of this introduction video. I hope it has triggered your interest to further follow this video course and to study the book. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.